For today, the Father instructs us to not look back. Focus your attention on the things that are in front of you rather than the things that are behind you. Allow yourself to forgive, let go, and move on. You must first forgive yourself because you will not be able to forgive other people unless you have first forgiven yourself and made the decision to refrain from recriminating yourself for things that you might have done differently or should have done differently. Your release will come to you via faith, and you must make the decision to go and sin no more. It is not that I am angry with you, nor am I pointing fingers at you for things that occurred in the past. Receive my mercy, for my mercies are renewed each morning, and do not berate yourself for the humiliations and failures that you have experienced in your daily life. Due to this, you are in need of a Savior. It is for this reason that I exist within you, and it is for this reason that I will always go on living to pray on your behalf before my Father. Take a look and live. Take a look at me. Consider the cost that I incurred in order to relieve you of the heavy responsibilities and set you free. According to the Father, this day is the day to step into your liberation because it is yoke easy and burden light time. Today, the Father tells you that this is the hour that you will never forget. Have the courage to take risks today, says the Father, and allow yourself to be filled with the completeness of who I am in your life. For the purpose of reflecting my glory, you are both marvelously and horribly formed in my likeness. The time has come for you to shine, and it is also time for you to know that I have called you to greater things, things that are greater than the restrictions and territories that the earthly realm can contain. You are granted unrestricted access. Are you seriously under the impression that the adversary can hold you back for even a fraction of a second, considering that you have unrestricted access to my thoughts, my strength, and my resources? You should tell your mind. Think the thoughts that God has. Speak to your eye and tell it to see what God sees. Your feet should be commanded to go where God goes. Tell your hands, I command you to do what God does, and then release them. The Father informs you that this is your time. If you want to utter the words of God, say it to your mouth to my words, when spoken by you, become God in your life and in the circumstances you find yourself in. I am able to embody the awareness of your words. Your words are the key to transitioning from merely visiting to residing and possessing something. Today, the Father says that all of heaven is supporting the words that you have said filled with faith. Proceed forth and take possession of your land. In today's message, the Father says, I am bringing you to a new and fresh dimension of intimacy with me. Your closeness to me is the aspect of you that the adversary of your soul finds to be the most powerful and threatening. I proclaim that you will be the receiver of my goodness and mercy, as well as my kingdom, says the Father. I am taking you beyond the outer precinct of my plans, because your portion is to be more than a believer in the outer court. I will bring you past the rent veil and into the surroundings of the mercy seat, which is where my splendor is located. Neither the inner court nor the external court will hold any fascination for you. It is imperative that you do not let the presence of friends, coworkers, or family members prevent you from rushing to the location that I have reserved for you in the name of my glory. I went away to make sure that I had a location ready for you. Didn't I say that? Put Not That Far Off says that the Father for the glory realm is a future destination. Sure, but it is also an inside now reality for you to enter into and take part in everything that is offered to you there. Every single request that you will ever pray is recorded in the glory, and the glory is already present within you, just waiting to locate its way out into your life as responses that are manifest. This is your natural environment as a child of God, whom I refer to as my beloved. Therefore, I invite you to enter my glory place, says the Father. On this day, the Father commands that there will be no further delays or postponements. What the Father has to say is that I am calling you up to my instancy. Your hands and feet are as close as the breath that comes through your nostrils, and there are prayers that you have prayed and things that you have asked for that are as close as there. Your free will and your capacity to make decisions are the factors that establish the relationship between your faith and the material that your faith brings into existence. Are you able to provide an answer right now? It is imperative that you do not let fear or a lack of knowledge about what to do next prevent you from taking advantage of the immediate transformation and shift that is currently available in your life. People who have a strong relationship with their God will be able to perform heroic deeds. Rather than focusing on the challenges, you should completely submerge yourself in my presence. Please take a deep drink of my spirit and fill your mind with the promises that I have made. When you are in that environment, the courage to take action will find you, and your faith will grow into the legs that will lead you into the very center of my purposes. It is the Father's advice to stop stalling. There will be no further delay. You must stop trying to dissuade yourself from doing what I have promised. The Father has declared that a new day has begun, and that this now is both your now time and your now season. Rejoice and do not be scared. At this moment, the blessing of heaven is available to you for the sake of change and transformation. On this day, the Father asks, "If I am for you, then who could possibly be against you?" Your adversary does not possess complete knowledge. In addition, he is not immune to harm. The deception that religion perpetuates is that the Dark One is in some way endowed with characteristics that are unique to me and that are solely a part of my sovereignty. In light of this, while the devil is focusing his limited knowledge and resources on your danger, I have devoted all of heaven's formidable resources to your protection and blessing. What are your thoughts on the outcome of the situation? Dearly beloved, I pray that you find comfort in the power of my right arm today. By your faith on this day, you will blind the adversary. Faith-filled thoughts and acts that are the result of faith confuse the adversary and make his attacks more difficult to understand. If you allow pressure and anguish to prevent you from remaining in the vine, then he will only be successful in his endeavors against you. I have to repeat it once again, my beloved, rest in me. Rest certain that I will take care of you and that I will oversee every facet of your life. It is possible that the adversary will grope and flail about in an attempt to gain entry to your life, but your victory and your ascendancy into my favor will be guaranteed and validated by your faith in the blood that was shed at Calvary. The Father instructs us to make my joy your compass and your guide in this day and age. The events that occurred in the past do not determine the antecedents of the days that are to come. The past will not determine the course of your future. My Spirit is going to go before you to open doors that have been closed and to turn back the onslaught that the enemy is making against your life and your serenity. Due to the fact that I am not constrained by time, I am traversing through your history. I am the God who is eternal and who governs time. Despite the fact that you believe that certain events from the past have made your future unattainable, the Father states that it is my sovereignty, not time or chance, that determines the result of your situation. Expand your expectations and be aware that you are not constrained by the decisions you made in the past that were not the best ones. To ensure that nothing except that which originates from and builds my dominion will be left behind, I am shaking things that are capable of being shaken. The Father tells us not to be afraid of the shaking. You should not put up a fight against the turbulent times that frequently occur because, as I stated in my word, it is via a great deal of suffering that you will join the kingdom. Apply pressure that would cause you to revert from the desire that is at the very top of your heart and from the purpose that I have laid out for you. You will be able to overcome every challenge and obtain the prize that is my lofty calling for your life if you mount up with wings as big as the eagle. In today's message, the Father says, my intention is to bring you to the fulfillment of what your heart desires the most and your greatest dream. My intentionality is something that you engage with by focusing on magnifying who I am in your scenario rather than compulsively focusing on the bad circumstances or pessimistic people that you have allowed to enter your boundaries. It is essential to make a thoughtful selection of your companions, as the Father advises. Chaste behavior is corrupted by links with evil acts. Being around individuals that are pessimistic, negative, and snarky will not bring you to the place where I am at peace or where I am happy. What is it that you are doing? The Father asks. Who or what do you believe is the source of anxiety and fear? Make sure that you protect both your heart and your head by surrounding yourself with people who are calling you up to joy and up to peace and up to victory and the excitement of leaping over the rail and walking on water with all of your friends cheering you on. In the event that the individuals in your immediate vicinity are not supporting you and encouraging you to think like a water walker, then perhaps you have to reevaluate the circles in which you are involved. Being pessimistic and referring to it as pragmatism is not the same thing as being mature. Allow this to be a moment that you will remember forever, says the Father, and make the decision to have a perspective of my purpose that is not limited by the confines of earth. The one who sits in the sky will be the one to laugh. When you are able to live your life from that elevated vantage point, you are able to laugh and feel an overwhelming sense of joy at things that people who are rooted on earth get scared of and run away from. What a jolt! When you are not laughing, you are giving up and giving in. It is important to avoid the white noise of unfaithful counselors. Put away your worries and find your consolation, your peace, and your pace in me, says the Father, and I will expedite your journey to the land that is promised to you personally. A subservient will is the key to success, according to what the Father has revealed to us today. It is necessary for you to break free from the stubborn despair that is preventing you from looking up and expecting my greatness to materialize in your very own life. Self-pity makes it impossible for you to find a place in my kingdom, beloved. Take control of the self that is filled with resentment and raise yourself up to the identity that you have in Christ. Give your full attention to my method, and I will handle the final outcomes. Says the Father, this is the next phase in the process. In spite of the fact that you have requested understanding, what you were actually looking for was a shortcut, and I am not going to provide you with one. According to the Father, those who take shortcuts are cowards. You will not be able to experience the full extent of my splendor in your own tale if you take shortcuts. You are being urged to participate in the full spectrum of my process on your way to achieving the highest possible level of fulfillment. Therefore, when you are going through the most difficult situations, keep in mind that the words you choose to use have an impact on who you are. Do not allow yourself to get melancholy or heavy-hearted. Rather, keep your hope alive and maintain a posture of stillness even when you are unable to recognize the positive aspects of the situation you are in. It is true that you are able to suffer a blow, but you must rapidly reposition yourself in order to rule and reign as a principality and a power in the physical world. You should fill your thoughts with the things that you want to come out of your mouth, because the things that come out of your mouth determine the bounds of what is going to happen in your life in the near future. Whining and whining will open a wide pit of suffering, which you will quickly step into and begin to question, in vain, how did this happen? It is not becoming of a fighter to complain, says the Father. There is no need to do so. My grandeur will be magnified in your immediate future, and you will not be disappointed or turned back if you open your mouth to praise and magnify it. As opposed to that, today is the day of blessing and the day of my favor for you. All you need to do is open the door of praise, purpose, and determination, and you will be able to experience the very finest and most perfect things that I have in store for you. Dearly beloved, according to the Father, there are always opportunities for second chances. You should not give up hope when the stresses of life bring out the worst in you, and your faith collapses right in front of your very eyes. In order to bring about your final victory and ascension into blessing and favor, as well as the fulfillment of everything that I have promised, I am always at the right hand of the Father that is interceding on your behalf. The best and most important purpose that I have for you is still on the table. There is nothing that you have to deal with or any decision that you have made that has taken me by surprise or that has inspired me to take out an eraser and blot out the positive things that I have in store for you from your entry in the Book of Life. Put an end to it now by letting go of the past and letting go of the humiliation, and by allowing me to wash you, cleanse you, and change you so that those mistakes, errors, and sins will not happen again. Beloved, I have the ability to leave an indelible mark on your life and personality in such a way that you will be altered for all time into the future. In response to your appearance, others will ask, "Who are you?" They believed that they knew you, but this is the new and improved version of you that I have made in my likeness. You are a new creation in Christ that lives, breathes, talks, and manifests the God walk. Therefore, rejoice in regeneration and restoration, for it is your share. Give me what it is that I am requesting. Be willing to give in to the pull that my spirit is exerting on your heart. Whenever you enter that point of obedience, you will witness the breaking of stagnation, the resurrection of your life and mine, and the instantaneous transformation of everything into something new. According to what the Father has revealed to us today, I am your protector and your trust at this hour. The adversary will launch an assault on you in your head and your feelings in order to overthrow the choices you have made in your life that have allowed him to take control of you. Have unwavering faith in the decisions that I have guided you to make. The capacity for decision-making that is within your heart is the way by which you can seize triumph and where faith can flourish. Compromise and second-guessing are not acceptable. The faith that I have placed within you is not capable of providing solutions that are inadequate or insufficiently driven. Because your faith is the bulldog of your soul, it has sunk its teeth into the devil's hide, and it will shake him until he gives up in a howling defeat. On this day, I am bringing forth the tenacity that is already present within you. As the Father instructs, do not give up and do not make any concessions. It's possible that other people in the kingdom who have stronger armor and more powerful reputations have also retreated, but you shouldn't do the same thing. In the book of Hebrews, the author writes, looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher. Make sure you remember these words. I will write in you and finish in you. Turn to me since any other emphasis is too low and does not reflect that magnificent thing that I will perform in your life. I am writing in you and finishing in you. Adjust your expectations and refocus your attention. In the face of your difficulties, you should approach them with the fundamental assumption that the entirety of heaven is supporting the risks you are taking in the hope of receiving my blessing and favor. According to the Father, this is the day and the hour when the most heavenly beings will come to your assistance. Today, the Father instructs you to rely on my will to be manifesting itself in your life when you are experiencing great pressure. If you bring yourself to submit to my magnificence in the midst of the strain that you are experiencing, I will prevent you from making the mistakes that are caused by fear and doubt. Emancipate yourself from the "so what" mentality that disregards the ancient promises that my word has made. You should make it your goal to speak more loudly to yourself than the voice of the enemy, the voice of doubt, or the voice of the external material that is contradicting my promises in your life right now. You should also shake off the sediments of doubt and unbelief that have accumulated around your spirit like dust. The Father says, call up your identity. Your true identity is that of my beloved, and know this as your true self. Reject these as complete fabrications and try to view yourself in the same way that I do. Every other image is a distortion of the self that originates with the adversary. That gives you the power. You have a right to it. In spite of all the schemes that the adversary has devised, you are going to be envious of what I am about to do in your life because it is going to be out of this world and unavoidable. As a result, your will must be aligned with mine in order for it to become a container for my sovereignty and my grace. My will cannot be changed. The Father has told you that this is your moment. Because this is the one unavoidable circumstance that is currently dictating the course of your life, you should come forward and enter my highest and finest. The Father says, at this very moment, I am calling you out of the holding pattern and into an approach vector for all of the blessings that I have laid in store for you. Not only are you not waiting on God, but this is not the season of waiting on God, rather, it is the season of moving into your blessing. The moment for your blessing has arrived, and the taunting adversary who says you can't and you won't will be trampled underfoot by your brazen deeds of faith and your conspicuous statement of my goodness. Indeed, the Father asserts that he is not in command. When it comes to you, my lordship is overcoming every obstacle that stands in your way during this time. Do not wait any longer. There is a great deal more power in what you do with what I have spoken, according to the Father, than in what you are waiting on me to undertake. At the right hand of the Father, I have already made a complete provision for shift, change, and transition, even though you have pleaded with me to provide it for you. It is the Father who says, start where you are. Regardless of the impossibility of the situation, you should begin from where you are and not disregard the call to obedience. In front of you, would you mind if I enlarged your steps? It has been revealed by the Father that a miracle is on its way, and you will play a role in it. You have a ministry gifting in your life, and now is the time to stop waiting and wondering and truly start putting into action the things that He has stirred your heart about. Thank God for this opportunity. You have committed your hands to the extraordinary and the healing gifts that are available to you. Step over, Not just step up, but step over the hurdles, impediments, and excuses, and I will meet you there, says the Father. Please do not simply step up. The Father has revealed to me today that I brought honor to the world when I asked, "Not my will, but thine be done." It was when I submitted my will with the finality that led to the cross that I received the assistance of the glory that had been with me before the earth was even created. Your will is the vehicle that brings my presence and my glory into your life and into the circumstances that you are currently experiencing. Except for your inability to settle on a course of action, I am able to deal with anything. I am guiding you through the process of submitting a will from the position of authority into the position of permission. The authority that I have is vested in you, my dear. As you assume the role of a servant and become submissive to the point of death, my authorization will be granted to you. In the words of the Father, it is time to go completely over the top. Simply because you yell at the adversary, he will not immediately lie over and pretend to be dead. You are the one who makes the judgments that cause the adversary to shake and be afraid. Your choices are causing him to stay awake and wring his hands so that he can continue to attack you because your willpower is putting you out of his reach. Consequently, today is the day to give in to your will. In the same way that my mercies are renewed on a daily basis, I want your consistency and dedication to my kingdom to be renewed with a renewed determination on a daily basis. The will that you have presented to me is the portion that you have been given, and it is within this portion that I have made my promise and that it will be fulfilled. According to what the Father has revealed to us today, I am constructing myself into your life and into your character. Do not be concerned with the people, settings, and circumstances that are constantly shifting. The manna from yesterday will not be sufficient to meet the requirements of today since life is about change. Every day, you should go out and receive the fresh manna and the fresh vigor that I have placed on your ground. Everything should be held loosely. In reality, the unexpected changes that you have been praying for and the requests that you have been lifting up are actually answers to the prayers and petitions that you have been praying for. Even if you don't instantly comprehend it, remember that it is not the adversary who is taking advantage of you. Rather, it is my hand that is easing your burden and simplifying your life in preparation for the upcoming tasks and victories. Don't turn around and look back. When it comes to the things that have happened in the past, the Father tells you not to look back because I am going to fill the things of the past with my goodness and favor that is beyond all of your expectations. There are no regrets. Don't make any assumptions. Simply take pleasure in the knowledge that the course of your life is being shaped by the complete control that I have over it. The prize is found in pressing ever forward into my greatest and highest plan, and no one who puts their hand to the task and looks back will endure since the prize is found in doing so. It is the Father who tells us to rejoice, and I will say it once more. The rewards that come from obedience and yielding will only get more delicious with each passing day. Today, the Father makes it clear that He is attempting to teach you about the true nature of who you are. As I am, you are also present on this planet. How am I doing? Do not be disheartened, my dearly lover. I am not disheartened. My attention is not diverted. My mind is not distracted with what is going to happen next because there is no place that I have not been before, and as a result, I am naturally capable of tackling the challenge that tomorrow will bring. The effort that you put into thinking about tomorrow is a waste of time since everything that I am in your life right now is everything that I shall be for you tomorrow. According to the Father, I am incapable of failing, and as a result, you are also incapable of failing when you live your life based on who I am. Embrace who I am in your life right now, says the Father. Live out of who I am. Be not concerned about things. Instead, allow them to be concerned about you. Declare to yourself, I will give thanks to the Lord with all my heart, and the adversary will be frightened away from the battlefield of struggle as a result of your praise. Fear is discouraged, and the enemy is discouraged as a result of your praise. To you, I am the light. I am the one who saves you. Regarding the role that I play in your life, what feasible adversary could compete with me? Tell your heart, fear not, for fear is afraid of you. Fear is afraid of you. Fear is so terrified of you that it remains awake at night contorting lies to tell you about things that will never happen anyway because I am with you. Fear is so fearful of you that it stays up all night. Be lifted up, says the Father, and so be it. Even though I am aware that you may not always get this, I am very patient. Because I am so patient, I have made a commitment to spend today, tomorrow, and forever if it is required to convince you of how invincible you truly are in me. Today, the Father tells us that your joy is your wayfinding system. Today is the day to go out and have fun. Allow yourself to be guided with tranquility. It is my delight that resides inside you that determines the course that your life and your day will take. When I am at calm, the timing is determined. To avoid falling into the trap of focusing on bad things, difficulties, and problems, you must avoid falling into the gravity well. You are not interested in going there, are you? Be conscious of the fact that you are wherever your attention leads you, my lover. When it comes to luring you away from the root of joy and the highest heart's desire that I have you moving forward on, the adversary is pretty skilled at putting up billboards of the negative in order to lure you into leaving. Do not have any faith in the marketing strategies employed by the Dark One. Continue to keep your peace. Hold on to your happiness. The Father encourages you to be lifted up on this day. Encourage yourself. There is no doubt. Have no fear. Defeat is not a viable alternative. Both you and I are working together, and I am working within you. I am not against you. Rather, I am on your side. That is not what you have been told time and time again, but you should listen to my voice rather than the voice of religious death that is not informed. My plan for you is not out of the question because there is nothing in your history that has had such a significant impact on your life. As a result of the fact that I am capable, you are also quite capable. It is possible for you to get the land. You are able to do all that your heart desires the most. You have my support. I will never abandon you in any way. The Father has informed us that the past is now in the past. Therefore, you should look forward to the future that I have in store for you. Rejoicing is a really bad thing for the adversary. I want you to rejoice in my presence and my spirit because it is there that you will find the freedom and the release that your heart is longing for. Through the power of my sovereignty, I will deliver you to the fulfillment of your deepest heart's desire and your most profound dream. Accept my completeness and recognize it as the foundation upon which I will build my supply in your life. I invite you to let my goodness to direct you to the core of the destiny that was prepared for you before the earth was even created. A lack of time is not an issue. There is no issue with the money. It is not an issue, according to the Father, since man's favor is only temporary. You will become the shining incarnation of that flawless pattern of destiny that I fashioned for you before the foundation of the world because of who I am in your life, as well as my supply to you and my favor toward you. This will cause you to overcome every hurdle and obstruction that you face. He says, trust me, and means it. Let me handle everything from here on out. Simply respond to my prompting and allow yourself to be lifted up to the substance and material truth of everything that I have promised you from the beginning of the world. In today's message, the Father instructs us to never let precepts take precedence over the intuitive guidance that my voice provides in our lives. Under no circumstances should you ever use your limited comprehension of principle to stifle the persistence of my voice and my leading that is going on inside of you. The adversary will approach you in such a way as to evoke from you the conditioned response of religious principle. However, I say to you that if you listen to my voice, he will be unable to ensnare you or capture you as a prize via his trickery and his lies. Place yourself in the company of genuine people. If you surround yourself with authentic people, you will always be able to recognize a fake piece of merchandise when it appears. There is no failure in love, says the Father. At no point does it fail to discern. Every time, it is able to see. My love in your life draws into the resources of anointed intuitive guidance in order to expose the adversary and unmask the deception before anybody else is harmed. I have faith in that discernment. When you pay attention to my voice and follow the prompting of my spirit within you, you will be able to perceive with a greater clarity than you are currently aware of. Take the wisdom of a snake and the gentleness of a dove. The opponent is unable to keep his mouth shut despite his best efforts. If you are willing to listen, he will always speak the truth about himself. In the event that you engage with him in the spirit, you will not find it necessary to clean up after him. It is the Father who says, I am with you. This is the appearance and sensation of victory in the Spirit, as well as the experience of fighting in the Spirit. The Father has revealed to you today that you are not a creature that is limited by time. Due to the fact that I have time, you get time. Do not even allow such thoughts to enter your mind, because I am not a God of insignificant things. Rather, I am the God of time, eternity, chance, and sovereignty. Do not even allow such thoughts to enter your mind. I am the one who is in charge of your life, and I am the one who is constructing your days and writing them down inside of my book. Therefore, have faith and be aware. Have faith and take comfort in the knowledge that a master craftsman is working on your behalf to create the blueprint for heaven on earth in your life. The amount of ideas that I have about you is more than the sands of space. More than the stars in the heavens, my intentions that involve you in a precise and personal way are more than extraordinary. My love would be fleshed out in your life in minute detail, and I build eternity as the parenthesis that would make that relationship possible. I am the Father, and I am for you, as you can see. Who could possibly be against you if I am on your side? To whom can you be compared? Put all of your attention and concentration on these Father facts. Allow the Father fact of my love to energize you and drive away any feelings of hopelessness, gloominess, or gloomy outlooks that you may have. Not yet has the best come to pass. On this day, the Father instructs us to never block my benevolence for other people. During the time that man was unlovely and an adversary of my realm, I dispatched the one and only begotten to defend him against himself. Be conscious of the fact that I settle every account in accordance with my own timing, and that the reward for you is to align your thoughts and your heart with me. Be careful with your words, and let your heart be exposed. Make it possible for my personality and my spirit to move freely through you without any obstructions. All things will be restored by my hand and in the manner that I choose, since I am the I am. Since the Father declares that love is unfailing, it begs the question, why would you ever abandon love? This love is one that religion and religious minds are completely unaware of. Self-justification and high-mindedness are two things that religion is the only thing that can teach you about tolerance. According to the Father, you should never allow anything to serve as a cheap substitute for the love that God has for you in your life. Love with all your heart. Love that is not conditional. If you love without any limitations and without ever hesitating to examine the price tag, you will be able to give away something that you have received without any restrictions. I have cautioned you against taking this route, but I have also encouraged you to go down this path. As you connect yourself in every thought and deed to my love, the moment has arrived, and the prize is also there at this same moment. Today, the Father has informed us that we are to celebrate who you are, what you do, and where I am sending you. This is the day that we rejoice. The Father encourages us to rejoice and celebrate. You should be aware that the beginning is the ultimate heart's desire. It is the beginning of the process of entering into place my promise in your life. There is no other ending that is acceptable, and there is no other plan that will win, says the Father, since I am your benefactor and I will not be rejected. My blueprint for your existence is heaven brought down to earth. For the same reason that I will not be refused, you will not be denied either. Due to the fact that I am incapable of being defeated, you will not be vanquished. Get rid of any and all concerns that you could be turned away or turned back. On the other hand, there are others who would do all in their power to destroy your dreams and bury your hopes, but they will be defeated and reduced to ashes and dust. It is I, the God who is able, who is willing to make promises, and who is able to meet those promises. My guarantee is one that you should take hold of with all of your heart and all of your soul without any reservations or hesitations, since you will never be dismayed or disappointed in any way. You are going to have to expand your thinking, as the Father has instructed you to do today. Considering that I am not constrained in any manner, it follows that you are not constrained in any way too. In the same way that I am not limited by the purpose that I have chosen to bring into your life, you will not be limited by the purpose that I have decided to bring forth in your life. According to the Father, the adversary who has set his hand upon your affairs will be destroyed. I will transfer him far away to his recompense, and you will hear about it. You will also know that my hand providence has removed from your life those individuals who chose to play with you. Therefore, according to the Father, the natural ebb and flow of kingdom culture is characterized by expansion and growth. You must make a decision within your heart to breathe in my kingdom and breathe out my culture until the adornments of blessing and the spontaneous fulfillment of every heart's desire are all around you. According to the Father, you have resolved the matter, have you not? You are aware of the nature of the natural part of you that is constrained by the limitations of the flesh. But you have also perceived within the flight of my spirit winding up within you to take you to greater heights, and the furthest fulfillment of destiny and purpose, even my sure purpose for which I brought you into the earth, says your Father. Because the Father has shown us today that love is unfailing, you should make it your goal to never abandon the love you have for someone. It is okay. Let go of it. Continue on. As long as you pay attention to my voice, I will protect you and lead you in whatever you do. Don't give the enemy the opportunity to determine the course of your life based on the decisions that other people make. Do not stop looking for the kingdom. Maintain your focus on the kingdom and disregard any and all attempts made by the adversary to thwart your vision or to divert your attention away from my will and purpose for your life. Therefore, pay attention to my voice, says the Father, as it communicates with you above the repetitive and harsh demands that are imposed by circumstance and situation. Please be aware that I am working with you in the midst, and that your reward will come from me. This is what the Father says. My word is faithful and true at this very moment, if there was ever a time when it couldn't be. Your support and your fortitude come from me. Your protection and your reward are both in me. Turn your back and worship. Go low in humility and walk in release and love, and you will know my favor even at the moment of pressure and trial that comes to test your faith. This is an opportunity for you to know my favor. Today, the Father declares that my gospel is not just the gospel to individuals, but also the gospel to the nations overall. My power and authority have been granted to you so that you might confront the nations of the world with the claims that Christ has made. Right now, I am working to bring justice and equity to all of the nations and races that exist on this planet. There will be a redressing of wrongs, and the balances will be adjusted. As the Father for the season is late, he warns that the rulers of the earth will try to disprove and oppose my objectives, but they will be unsuccessful. The moment has arrived for the Cheros and the Chronos to come together and bring about the establishment of my will in the earth in a way that cannot be questioned. While you are bringing yourself into harmony and line with my intentions for the season, the Father adds, this is your destined time. In spite of the fact that other people will make fun of and ridicule the word that I placed in your mouth, you should be aware that you are the one I am working with to execute both my will and my good pleasure. As the distractions are being dealt with, the Father instructs you to empty your hearts of any affection that is in conflict with my kingdom. Assume the responsibility of handling the Father's business. You should tell yourself in your heart that you must be concerned with my Father's business on a daily basis. There is no doubt that I will come to you and establish a glory habitation within you, which will make my rule and authority evident in the world and in your life for the purpose of blessing and doing good, says the Father. The Father has revealed to us today that a profound transformation in leadership is currently taking place across the land. I am bringing back into existence in the earth women of destiny and women of power to lead my people in the same way that Deborah led the armies of Israel to triumph over their adversaries. In what has traditionally been a male-dominated position within the body of Christ in the Western world, women will finally be able to take their rightful place in the many leadership positions. Women leaders of the quality of Catherine Coleman and Maria Woodworth-Etter will once again take their place on the international arena and command the attention of nations. I will respond by demonstrating my power and anointing the objectification of my handmaidens. I will also demonstrate my might against women who will lead and walk in mantles of glory that have never been seen before. A new generation of women who will perform exploits in my name because they do know me and they have walked with me, and I will shatter the glass ceiling of misogyny in my house because I find it an abomination in my sight, says the Father. The boys' club is giving way, says the Father, to a new generation of women. The Father says, I will pour out, and I am pouring out upon both my servants and my handmaids. Therefore, get ready to accept those who come in my name, because they will no longer be delayed, neglected, or marginalized in any way, according to the Father. To this day, the Father encourages you to make a choice to view life and the people in your immediate environment through the lens of me. Both the heat and the pressure of the anguish that occurred on the cross were responsible for shaping and grinding that lens. It is imperative that you do not allow yourself to be transformed into a person who is legalistic, demanding, or unforgiving as a result of the wrongs that have been committed against you. Be aware that I am aware of your predicament, and that I will settle all accounts with equity and justice as long as you abandon the outcome and trust in my sovereignty to act and to arrange the circumstances in your advantage. Have you faith in me? Let me handle everything from here on out. Choose not to react or to live in response to what happens. Instead, you should respond and allow your response to be determined by the filter of my grace and my love that is all-encompassing. Those who are able to forgive a great deal love a great deal. You will find renewed delight and restored faith in my ultimate process to bring all things to a finish that is honorable if you forgive heavily today, says the Father. Your newly discovered liberty will also bring about this renewal. Consequently, the Father advises you to not go your own way. Keep in mind that I am the way, the truth, and the life whenever you find yourself feeling angry and irritated by everything that has happened to you, and when you feel the want to demand satisfaction. Whether you want to have it your way or to allow me to be your way, your truth, and your life, you have the option. This thought, which is also the mind of Christ, should be present within you. Do what I would do in this situation, and what heaven and earth and circumstance conspire to do to adjudicate every injustice in your defense and in your favor, says the Father. Have a mind that is centered on God, and do what I would do. Beloved, the Father has told me that every single hair on your head is accounted for in the book that I have written here. For the sake of demonstrating my goodness and blessings in your life, each and every one of your days has been numbered and reserved for specific purposes. It is not my intention to find a justification to keep something from you. I am not the God who withholds. Rather, I am the Father who provides, directs, and brings you to the highest, best, and most important in everything. It is you who I refer to as the head, not the tail. You are not below me. Rather, I summon you above. I refer to you as being provided rather than poor. To my beloved, I am not the God of destitution. Rather, I am the God of prosperity. Your prayer to me should be more, Lord, because I will not deny those who surrender themselves to my boundless kindness and unbounded goodness the desire to have such a desire. I take much pleasure in bestowing blessings onto you. Will I deprive myself of something that I find so pleasing by refusing or delaying without providing a solution? For today, the Father says, put your trust in my essence. Your name will be heard. It is your right to call me by my name. My name is your safe haven, where all of your needs are met and all of your desires are constrained by my favor and my willingness, which were founded by the gift of the only begotten. The Father declares that it is a new day. If you rely on me to fulfill your expectations, you will not be disappointed or denied in any way. In this day and age, the Father says, I would like for you to hear my voice with clarity and fullness. You have been given the gift of prophecy through your life. It is because the simplicity of the prophetic is to hear my voice and communicate what you hear for the benefit of others that you have the ability to have prophetic gifts. Those who are able to hear should be allowed to do so. Have a conversation with your eyes and give them the instruction to open. You must speak to your ears and give them the command to listen to my speech. I am the voice of many waters, and I am descending upon you at this very time. My voice is the voice of many waters. It is predetermined that you will be the one to hear my voice. Due to the fact that the blood that was shed at Calvary serves as both your validity and your foundation for standing righteously before my throne, you have the right to hear my voice. Through my actions, I will make it possible for you to not only hear, but also see what I am saying. You are going to see, you are going to hear, and you are going to feel the entire bandwidth of my agenda for your life and heart for the world that is all around you. It is now that I grant you the courage to recognize the subtleties that are contained inside the quiet little voice. Even the voice of my spirit, which was revealed in the deepest portions of your existence. You will be a student of the Logos, and you will also be a student of the Rima, which is even the truth that I am giving you right now. My voice causes the adversary to quiver wherever it is heard. My kingdom is created in places where my voice is heard, where healing is made apparent, and where liberation is brought. Father, I proclaim that you are the recipient of all that my voice offers to those who choose to hear and see and know the truth of my heart and mind in their lives. Be attentive to my voice, says the Father, because today I declare that you are the recipient of all that my voice allows. You are entering the season in which things will now start to change, according to what the Father has told you today. The geography of life that you have envisioned and wished for is about to become nothing more than a means of transportation on the path that leads to the fulfillment of your deepest, most heartfelt desires and your greatest dream. Creating a context for how good I am being to you along the route to greater favor, greater ministry portion, and a heavier anointing than you have ever experienced is going to be the most difficult battle you will ever face. The daydreams of what if and if only that you have had about my kindness are but a trace of what I am going to bring into your life as a substance and a reality. I am about to bring it into your existence. Try to gaze up. Keep an open mind. Please be aware that I am your portion at this very moment. The methods of coping that you relied on in order to maintain your mental well-being will no longer be of any use to you. They are a barrier to you, and they prevent the full blossoming of my character in your life while they are there. Depart from them. In preparation for the rains that my spirit will bring, you must put aside the habits, attitudes, and ideas that have plagued you during the dry seasons. In response, the Father affirms that the showers of my spirit, which are of great benefit to you, are already beginning to fall upon you. The clouds of grace, fullness, and purpose are gathering over your seeds of hope in order to cause them to sprout, beginning with the blade, beginning with the ear, and then culminating in the entire corn that is contained within the ear. I didn't think I would keep you waiting for an indefinite amount of time, did you? Into your newly discovered fruitfulness, the Father continues, you should take a step today. You are a tree of righteousness, according to what the Father has said to you today. You are a tree that is brimming with the life-giving sap of my spirit, and your roots are deeply rooted in the reservoirs of my satisfaction. My plans need you to move from glory to glory, and the rings of growth that are found within your branches are numerous. These rings represent the seasons of change and transition that you will experience. There are certain rings that are thin, while others are thick. This is due to the fact that certain years had more of my reign in your life than others. In some years, the harvest was more abundant than in others. Your life is going to be like this, says the Father, for I will nourish you and cause you to grow tall and bear fruit with each and every rain that falls. My calendar is set up to accommodate each and every one of these revitalizing times. On a daily basis and on an annual basis, I have rains of provision, blessing, and fruitfulness in store for you. Thus, you should not be concerned about the instances in which things do not appear to be coming together. Your branches will become more robust during those years of adversity and drought, allowing you to withstand any attack from the adversary that may come your way. This will allow you to weather the storms and winds that are inevitable. You are being molded and molded by the wind of my spirit, says the Father. You are growing and changing. If you continue to rejoice in spite of the difficulties that you face, you will eventually emerge victorious and have the opportunity to experience my refreshment. I will bring you to greater heights and deeper depths as I release myself in you, and you will see that I am creating a vintage of my spirit in your life that others will rejoice to drink of. This will happen as you continue to trust me through each shift and transition. Today, the Father says, I have placed in you by my Spirit a character and a personality that is not content to sit on the sidelines in any area of life. This is a statement that the Father has made. You are the type of person who does not take much pleasure in merely observing. I make you into someone who has trouble sitting still, and you are easily bored with dead religious silliness. I have made you into someone who is difficult to sit still. As far as the things that pertain to my kingdom are concerned, you have been exposed to all of the tales. But What you truly desire is not to hear, but rather to experience signs, miracles, and wonders. According to the Father, you will not be let down, since I am referring to you as the participator and first partaker on this particular day. Your heart is crying out, and I hear it. I shall propel you to the forefront of my goals and objectives. You will be going about my business. I will make use of you and put you to use, and I will release my glory in you all. In your life, you are the one who carries the mantle of my purpose. There is an exponential growth in every area of need that you will experience as a result of my blessing upon you. Instead of playing it safe and not being terrified, make it your determination to not be afraid. As soon as you hear my voice, I will cause you to walk on the water and gain a witness of glory, which has been the cry of your heart for such a long time. I will make sure that you have heard my voice, and as you hear my voice, I will cause you to do the same thing that Peter did. According to the Father, it is beneficial to be still today. It is beneficial to have control over both your thoughts and your heart, and to be quiet in front of me. There is never a time when you are more fully focused on my glory than when you get still and just know. The Father states that when you are still within yourself, you have my people's full attention. Be aware of who I am, as well as who you are, and be aware of the fact that the Father proclaims that you and I together constitute a majority. You are able to put your faith in me for the outcome, as well as for the steps that you will need to take in order to arrive at that state of affairs. He says, trust me, and means it. Put your faith in me, and I will handle everything from here on out. Maintain your concentration and avoid any distractions, because you are aware that the choices you make on a daily basis either bring you into my mind and my grandeur or cause you to leave my mind and my magnificence. In the words of the Father, adopt the mentality of the Papa God. Put all of your anxiety, worriedness, and urgency to the side. Your situation is not hopeless. The situation is not hopeless. It is only because you are looking in the incorrect way that you have the assumption that something is not the case. According to the Father, trust. I want you to be aware that I am present in the room because you are present. You should never back down from a fight, because the only fight you can take part in is the good fight, and I will be there to support you. It is my fist that will strike back at the adversary whenever he engages in an attack against you. The enemy will always give you a second thought before he decides to tamper with you, because you are aware of both who I am and who you are. Is it possible for you to comprehend that point of view? This is the happy and peaceful moment for you. The Father encourages you to find calm on this day. This day, the Father tells you that my splendor in you is causing you to change. Increasing the duration of your life is my glory. Changes in your life expectancy are the result of my glory. Your wounds are being healed, and the destruction caused by the disappointments of the past days are being bound up. My glory is mending you. On the inside of you, the horn of my glory is recognized and is becoming known. It is also changing and transforming you in ways that are both substantial and even obvious. The question, what is that light on their countenance, will be asked or spoken about you, and the response will be, it is the glory of God. My glory is on you, says the Father, and my glory is in you. My glory is in you. My life, which is my irreducible Zoe existence within you, is undergoing significant transformations, shifting, and acceleration as a result of my glory happening. As a result, you should not calculate your days according to the calculations of man, because man does not take into consideration the impact that my glory has on you. I am not in you merely in the capacity of a visitor, as I was in the past. Rather, I am in you by way of dwelling. I am establishing my dwelling place within you, and the cloud that led the children in the wilderness during the day and the fire that led them during the night is also leading you, protecting you, and providing for you. Because of the glory that I have placed within you, even those who are in your immediate vicinity will be provided for. Dew of the glory, even your clothing will not become worn out or unusable. This is dew of the splendor. The Father says, you are a receptacle of my glory. Embrace the glory, revel in the glory, and channel my glory out from you to others as your testimony of my faithfulness. You are a receptacle for my glory. As of today, the Father has instructed you to acquire the ability to control your own impatience. Despite the fact that you have requested authority, I have already granted it to you. The power of my dunamis and my exousia, which is the enablement to be still, should be exercised. Stay motionless and pay attention. Maintain your composure and gain knowledge. I want you to be still and to find a place of anchoring yourself in the silence that exists between your own thoughts, because that is where my voice is beginning to make its way into the flow of your own consciousness. Listen to the rumble of my laughter, says the Father, because he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. Do not let the humor of the enemy's onslaught escape your grasp. It is quite certain that the adversary will be defeated and repelled in your life. On the inside of you, allow the peaceful hum of joy, laughter, and celebrating to acquire speed and reach a new level of intensity. Let my joy serve as the backdrop for your day today, since my kingdom is one of joy, peace, and righteousness. Let my joy be the background of your day. Not only is my kingdom in you active, but it is also active. Instead of focusing on the assault of the enemy, which is failing and disintegrating right now as you step into my now for your life, you should go over the wondering and doubting about whether or not I genuinely set a priority on thriving and being in good health. You are aware that the amount of personal strength you possess is not sufficient to complete the task at hand, but I am bringing to your attention the fact that there are more people who are on your side than there are who are on your side. Instead of focusing on the adversary, give your attention to the angels. The angels of my might are making their way into your life in order to bring about the unquestionable establishment of my will for you. Now, the Father tells you to calm down. Maintain your composure and bring your feelings and your state of mind into alignment with what I am demonstrating to you. Do not let yourself be fooled by the deceitful vanity of the situation and the circumstances that would make it appear as though you are not going to make it through. According to what the Father has revealed to us today, I will not be contained or corralled, and as a result, you will not be captured or confined. Liberation, liberty, freedom, and fullness are all characteristics that are associated with the presence of my spirit inside you. My spirit possesses the nature of liberty. Today, I am bringing into existence inside you the joy that comes with the freedom and liberty that you possess. Having the freedom to take deep breaths and smile freely. To be able to make your way to that place that I have prepared for you, where you are seated and empowered to rule and reign in life, I grant you the freedom to release and the freedom to mount up with wings as eagles above the restrictions and the weight of natural things. It is not essential to die in order to rule and reign, according to the Father. Right now, the process of ruling and reigning starts in you and through you. At this moment, you have the opportunity to exercise dominion and control over every facet of your life. Do not be disheartened. Do not be disheartened, for I am about to bring a wave of healing over you, which will repair, replenish, and restore you. According to the Father, I am rebuilding your strength through this day. For the purpose of receiving my glory and demonstrating my completeness, I am taking you up out of the pollutions of this world and purifying you, even purifying your natural body. I am your doctor and your healer. I am your expert. In addition, sickness and disease, DSEs shall not have any part or component of your life, spirit, soul, or body. You are free to receive all that I have to offer, says the Father, since my spirit of liberty is released upon you today. Today, the Father instructs us to be still and to just acknowledge that I am God. Regarding your predicament, I am God. It is my hand that is lowering the mountain of impediments that are in your way down there. It is my hand that is spanning the insurmountable chasm that appears to be in the way of your progress. Simply remain still and make the choice to put your faith in me. There is no constructive use for panic in any situation. Fear is a negative emotion that should be avoided at all costs. It is important to understand that you cannot be divorced from who I am, and that you can trust me despite the fact that you do not know how things will happen. If you believe me, you will not only trust me for the outcome, but also for the process of getting through everything. Stand with me, says the Father, since fear will force you to oppose what I am doing to deliver you. Stay with me. You must make the decision that your human will become the vehicle of spirituality and strength that I am unleashing to you on this day. Allow yourself to be dragged into a deeper trust in me, and allow yourself to be drawn in. Take a step back from your personal difficulties and become a source of inspiration for those around you. When you are confronted with the pressures of life that cause you to focus solely on yourself, make a conscious decision to keep your focus on other people. This is the secret to overcoming failure and entering the realm of my love, which is filled with no failures at all. When you are under the most tremendous strain, you should get out of the way of your own self-interest and focus on yourself and go out and adore someone who unexpectedly comes into your life. As a consequence, you will be able to observe your breakthrough. I have everything in my control, says the Father, for I am your protector and I am your secure guard. As of today, the Father instructs us to get rid of the sackcloth of regret. Set aside the wistful sorrow that you wish things had progressed in the previous year and go on with your priorities. Move on from the past. Those who have wronged you should be forgiven, released, and blessed. Continue on. On the other hand, I have better things in store for you than to wallow in the muck of disappointment and depression. Are you not more impressed by me than you would be by 1,000 breakthrough moments? I am bringing you into a lifestyle of habitation and glory, not simply in the form of periodic visits, and I am moving you into this lifestyle. At this point, there is no longer a requirement to wait for the water to become turbulent. At this moment, I am here with you. You are in front of me. Would it be possible to restore your health? Today is a whole new day, brand new in accordance with your anticipations. The new is determined by the degree to which you are willing to hope. In a survivalist attitude or a fatalism, there is no enjoyment to be had. You should make preparations for something that is fresh and something that is illustrative of the fullness of my power that will be showering upon you and washing away all of the disappointments and disillusionments that have occurred in previous seasons. I have time, and you have time, because you are eternally defined. You are not time-bound, darling. You are eternally defined. My pledge is that my highest purpose is still on the table, and that there is no way that my purpose for you can be compromised. Consequently, rejoice and go forward. Once you have committed your path to me in its entirety and are willing to take risks in anticipation of my constancy, you will experience an expansion of step. The Father asserts that your life is significant at this moment. Your birth, your childhood, and your personal history are all constrained by my plan, and I am ready to intervene in your situation at any time that your joyful surrender gives me permission to do so. I am ready to do this. Righteousness, peace, and joy are the hallmarks of my reign. When my kingdom is about to breach the darkness that surrounds you and manifest my light, my miracles, and my favor, you will experience joy in your heart. You should not give anyone or anything the power to take away your happiness. Those individuals who consider melancholy and gloom to be a component of spiritual mysticism are completely unaware of who I am or what I am able to do in their lives. Put an end to the never-ending cycle of worrying and fearing, as well as the conversation of not believing. In order for you to see the resources of power that I have placed directly in your path, you will need to stir up the wells of delight that are already present within you. Please stop thinking that I am not close by, since there is nothing that can separate you from me. I am as close to you as your hands and feet, and I am even closer than the air that comes through your nose. Take a deep breath of tranquility, exhale with joy, and proceed with the confidence that comes with being one of my devoted followers. I am doing well. I never fail to be good. In ways that cannot be questioned or refuted, I am bringing my goodness into manifestation in your life. God the Father encourages you to have hope. You will never be defeated in any manner, shape, or form, so make sure that your expectations are elevated accordingly. Today, the Father has spoken to you that I am moving in your life with an intention that is unwavering. I am accustomed to receiving what I want, says the Father, and I do not take it lying down when the adversary makes an attempt to obstruct my blessing in your life. When it comes to your beloved, do not give in to what the adversary is trying to divert you from. I want you to embrace my intentionality in your life, and you should not be concerned about what the losing team is doing. There is a tranquility that surpasses comprehension in this moment. Allow this tranquility to serve as a shield for your mind. Bring about this peace right away. Even when the adversary is pounding on your door and yelling his never-ending and futile threats, let my serenity to cause you to feel my love and my joy as if they were a tangible thing. Be a part of the breakthrough and live from it. The breaker anointing is upon you, and because I live inside of your heart, the breaker anointing is you. Come to the place that you evolve out of the necessity for a sequence of breakthrough moments into a lifestyle of continual overcoming at all times in all circumstances. Do not be afraid, says the Father. In all honesty, your most significant issues are not even close to becoming a challenge. Discover how to laugh at your adversary. I will not permit the enemy to molest you in any manner, so stand between my legs, wrap your arms around my knees, and stick your tongue out at him. I will not allow him to do any of those things. Beloved, dwell in this brilliant light. If you choose to dwell in this presence, it is because this is the place where my complete love will make its full manifestation, bringing you complete relief and joy in the midst of the chaos that is occurring in the world around you. The Father instructs us to remove the sackcloth of sadness that we have been wearing over the events of the past. You are no longer allowed to cry in the middle of the night or question the reasons for those things that you are unable to explain or justify. According to the Father, it is my hand that is busy working in your life. Your confidence should not be placed in the arm of flesh, nor should you wait for other people to hear from me before you discover freedom, launching, and destiny. It is impossible for any individual to claim that they were the creators of the grandeur and kindness that has been bestowed upon you. I am a God who is envious, and I will not allow another person to participate in my glory. According to the Father, both my glory and my jealousy are contained within you. Every response, every breakthrough, every need that is satisfied, and every desire that is at the greatest level of your heart will be realized by my fullness, greatness, and glory that is on the inside of you, enthroned in your heart. This day I have bestowed upon you the crown of my glory. Because I have made you a principality and a power, I have given you the ability to bring down all the rules and all the power that the wicked one possesses. Receive the rod of authority and rule. You are not going to be defeated, the Father assures you. You are not going to be rejected. As you listen to my voice and respond in steadfast obedience, you will not be redirected in any way. As of today, the Father has communicated to you that I am bestowing upon you new hope, new life, and new expectations. In the same way that a heavy rain falls after a dry season, I am causing your spirit to grow full of my goodness, and I am moistening your spiritual bones, says the Father. I announce to you today that the lean years, lean times, and lean expectations that you have been experiencing in your life are now gone, and that you will experience newness of joy and newness of my substance even in the midst of your need and your aggravation. The Father adds that it is because of who I am and what I do. No longer will you have to experience the sense of being a prisoner of hope where you are bound off and denied that which you have longed for and cried out for. I am the originator of a new JY with this day, with the intention of leading and guiding you out of captivity and into the full spectrum of my promise. This is a new season and a new purpose that is being made visible. According to the Father, you should bind your spiritual shoes to your feet. Put the staff that I use to exercise authority in your hands. As the angel delivered Peter from the prison house, so I am delivering you out of the empty and vain religious hopes into fullness of life and power and the proof of my Spirit. Behold, the doors that have been locked against you are opening of their own accord. In the same way that the angel delivered Peter from the prison house, I am telling you at this very moment that you are a first participant in the demonstration that you have been asked to be a part of. Not only are you a participant, but you are also a participant, because your history will not determine your destiny, nor will the opinions of man. Even those who have criticized you will seek you out when they see my evident goodness in your life, just as the Magi sought out the place where the baby was born. This is because I have set my sign in the heavens above you, which is the sign of rule and favor even this day and this hour. You will not be limited by what man thinks, because even those who have criticized you will seek you out. As of today, the Father has communicated to you that your spirit is my home, and that I want you to become acquainted with my surroundings. It is your heart that I have selected to serve as the location of my government in the world. Your spirit, which is specifically your human spirit, does not sleep and it does not slumber. It is continually moving forward, working on the areas of your life that require improvement in accordance with my plan and my purpose. You should never give yourself permission to have a house that is empty because your inner man is a highly prized piece of real estate in the domain of the invisible. I wanted to make my home in you so badly that I brought my only begotten son to earth in order to make that dream come true. It is the Father who is the point of entry for me into your life, according to your spirit man. Protect your heart and your spirit, and do not let anything that could pollute or corrupt my throne room on the inside of you access your spirit through your thoughts or emotions. Guard your heart and guard your spirit. Your spirit is always in communication with me and comes to eat at my table. You have made me Lord over your life in a way that is both practical and practically applicable when you give your spirit the ascendancy over your emotions and your thoughts. According to the Father, this epitomizes the pragmatic approach to spiritual matters. While you are walking with me, you are doing more than simply carrying a feeling of love toward me around in your heart. Because my lordship in you is active and practical, and because you are putting my thoughts and my methods into practice in your life, you will experience my lordship in a way that will enable you to triumph over even the most formidable challenges and the most significant dangers to your tranquility. I will create my home in you and establish my boundaries of blessing and protection over you in a manner that you have not yet experienced in its entirety. Therefore, open your spirit to my life and to my indwelling, and I will make my home in you. That I am your Jehovah Nissi, the Father declares to you now. As a sign of splendor emanating from my throne, the angels of heaven are descending upon you as they carry the banner that I have placed over you. They are coming closer to you for your advantage and are diligently working toward your blessing. It is a banner of hope and a banner of healing that I have placed over you. Your faith has the potential to bring all that I have promised you into full reality, and I am rekindling your hope in this regard. Indeed, the Father affirms that your trust is bringing about certain changes in your life that you have been anticipating me to bring about to you. A landing of my favor in your life is being brought about by your trust, which is the signalman that is bringing it in. Remember the numerous people to whom I spoke these words, be it unto you according to your faith. This is also the faith that you possess, as well as the faith that I have given to you as a gift that is not conditional on anything. Your faith is the kind of faith that takes the form of, be it unto you as thou hast said. Therefore, make it a point to take action and speak up right now, because this is the one and only time when the words that come out of your mouth will have the same impact as if I had spoken them or done them myself. It is not through the will of man that anything is accomplished. Rather, it is through my trust that I have planted in you. Take a look at my banner, which is the manifestation of my hope in your life. Have my faith, yes, have the faith of God. The Father assures you that you will not be let down, denied, or turned back in any way and form. The Father has informed you that you are welcome in the Beloved at this very moment. You will inevitably have access to everything that heaven has to offer. There are no hidden handshakes or hidden agendas at work in your life that may possibly result in denial or in any way backwards from receiving my favor. The complicated theology of unbelief, which indicates that I somehow place a priority on suffering, rejection, or denial of heaven's best, should be rejected to this day. My goal, which is the only plan I have for your life, is to provide you with abundance and redemption. This is not what is being taught, as far as I am aware. Choose this day to be a father pleasure and refuse to feed on the pig slop of warped religious thinking that would deny you the exact thing that I put in a lot of pain to make available to you. This day, the Father says, give yourself permission to take a deep sip of my fullness. There is no more misery that can be allowed to continue. You should have the conviction that Calvary is sufficient. In your heart, declare that the suffering that took place at Calvary was sufficient to ensure that you will receive all of the benefits of salvation, redemption, and glory. As far as the Father is concerned, there is no redemptive rigor or cost that has yet to be carried out. In order for you to have a full and complete understanding of the provisions of my promise, the full weight of divine justice and the curse of sin was placed upon me while I was on the tree. As the Father has spoken to you, you are currently living in a time of promise. There is no denial on my part. I will not ignore your cries or delay my response to you in any way. I am nearby, as close as your hands and feet, as close as the breath that comes through your nostrils. I am by your side. When you take a deep breath in my spirit, you will be able to see the substance of all my promises made manifest in your surroundings and circumstances. The Father encourages you to make it your mission to accept my intentionality in your life today. As a result of your devotion to the commandments of my thinking, you will be able to transform defeat into victory and stagnation into active life in my kingdom. Take into consideration today the ideas of someone who has adopted the ascension mind, in accordance with what I stated in my word. In the words of the Father, do not mind earthly things. As a result of the fact that you are an ascended and entitled son of the Most High God, you should view yourself and your situation from the perspective of highest heart's desire and greatest dream fulfilled. The calm that comes about as a result of your acceptance of my intentionality toward your life removes all anxiety, worry, and fear from your life. A visible manifestation of my goodness can be found in your life, says the Father. Your countenance is brightened by my goodness, and you are moved forward with quantum steps that do not require you to take any form of entrenchment or regrouping in order to deal with the assault of the adversary. Consequently, you should readjust your perspective so that you are not only waiting for a transformational event to occur, but rather envision yourself living a lifestyle that is characterized by ongoing transformation and breakthrough. Rather than just wondering what to do, learn how to be for yourself. Relax in my presence and observe the activity of your spirit, your human spirit synchronizing with the functioning of my spirit and completing all of the things that you have cried out to me regarding, as well as a great deal more, my darling. When it comes to living life, this is the Jesus style. According to what the Father has revealed to us today, my spirit is a clear and certain presence within your entire being at this very moment. Loved one, I am not residing in some insignificant part of your body. Rather, I am occupying your entire being, including your body, soul, and spirit. Say to yourself today that there will be no opposition within you, not even in your physical being, since your limited vitality is being filled with the energy and vitality of heaven, including that life and strength that is resident within me and now within you. Say this to yourself. The same spirit that resurrected my physical body from the grave is on the inside of you today to heal and to fill and to reconstruct your health, your youth, and your vigor. I am your life and I am your breath. I am the spirit that raised my physical body from the grave. On this day, I will remind you that the Father will not leave any part of your requirements unattended in any way. Raise those hands that I have made sacred and exult in the fact that your life and your breath are being reborn and transformed, receiving the metamorphosis and the restoration of even the vigor of the early days of your youth. When you ran and rejoiced in the strength that I put in the very heart of you, is something that you should allow yourself to experience. Today is not the day to give in to hopelessness. My strength will come upon you to accomplish and excel, and to redeem the days that the enemy has sought to rob from you with waves of tiredness and frustration. Shake yourself like Samson shook himself, and my strength will come upon you to accomplish and excel. Rejoice, says the Father, and I say it once more, rejoice on this day in the joy that comes from the power of your youth, which I am replenishing under the sun. According to what the Father has revealed to us today, my promise in you cannot be undermined or lessened by anything that is produced. Be aware of this, says the Father. The adversary of your soul is not comparable to me, but rather stands in opposition to me. As part of the process of redemption, the Father adds, I have given you my uncreated and sovereign substance. I inhaled my everlasting nature into you so that you may experience the power that will be available to you in the world to come. Through the sacrifice of Christ on the cross and through the sincerity of my spirit, I have provided you with a complete measure of my limitlessness, which means that I will not be confined or confined. As a result of the fact that I will not be confined or contained, the Father declares that you will not be confined or contained since you are my possession. I am yours, says the Father, and you are mine. I am with you. My sovereignty is in you, and you have the ability to harness it for the purpose of providing and breaking through. On this day, Mercy and truth rejoice together over you that you are. Please accept the complete measure of everything that I am in eternity as your provision and resource in this physical world. Put an end to any and all rules that would challenge something. Because I am that I am, and because I am on the inside of you, I am enthroned and ruling and reigning over your life, from the smallest minutiae of your need to the greatest mountain of adversity that might loom in your way. You will not be governed by need, by sickness, or by any depredation of the enemy. You will not be ruled by any of these things. In today's message, the Father tells you that you are not being sent back. Rather, you are being engaged. My power and sovereignty are teaming with you today to propel you beyond the existing barriers and difficulties that are in front of you. I am turning you to triumph, turning you onto my power, and turning you onto my sovereignty. The obstacles that are in front of you are illusory, according to the Father, and they will give way to the faith that is active in you right now, which is my faith. You see, the Father says that my sovereignty is a place that you live from and stand in, so that the fiction of resistance on the part of the enemy simply disappears from your life like a morning mist. Not to be disheartened by this. Do not allow yourself to become sidetracked. Because I am neither disheartened nor distracted, and because I am in you, you can relax into my audacity and my confidence. I have placed my character and composure on loan to you, says the Father, so that you can go through the day with delight and not anxiety, fear, or doubt. With a smile, the Father says, "Rejoice in this. He who is seated in the heavens will be the one to laugh." It is possible to reflect on the defeats that have occurred in the past, but this is not that day or that season. Because you're unique, it is going to be different from what you expect. You have a deeper understanding of my nature, and as a result, you are closer to me than you were back then. As the Father says, rejoice, for this is going to be a lot of fun. I am removing the layers and sediment of disappointment and disillusionment that have destroyed your hopes, the Father says today. I am peeling back the layers. I am bringing back to you the faith that you had when you were younger spiritually. This day, child, I am reestablishing faith in your life. I am doing things like that. In the same way as I stated in my word, come to me when I was a young child. I am taking you to myself, says the Father, and I am sending you in the midst, yes, in the midst of the men of letter and the doctors of theology who believe that they are the arbiters of truth and my revelatory interpretation of my word. I am sending you in the midst of them. The Father continues, I will bring a word of demonstration through your life that will upend the status quo and release miracles. Yes, unusual miracles and signs and wonders into the earth. I will bring this word of demonstration by your life. I have decided to bring you forth as an instrument in my hand, and today is the day that I have chosen to do so. And you would say, Lord, I am just a child, but the Father says to you today, I have placed my seal upon your life and determined and selected you not because of your credentials, but because of your willingness to be bendable, spendable, and sendable in my kingdom purpose. I have chosen you because of your readiness to be a part of my kingdom purpose. Therefore, get ready, says the Lord, because that very day, everything is going to change. Because of the shift, transition, and change that I will bring about in your life, you will look back and be amazed at the changes that I have brought about. This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in my eyes, you will find yourself saying as you gaze at it and marvel at it. Do not let what you are unable to do prevent you from doing what you are capable of doing, the Father urges to us today. It is in the act of doing that you will find the launch that you have been dreaming about. I have called you to be a doer. When it comes to my realm, observation is not enough. You must take action. What you are doing is the reason why things are the way they are. If you want things to be different, you have to change what you are doing. You have access to my mind, my heart, and my courage, all of which are accessible to empower you and guide you toward the geography of change that will provide you with a completely new map to use in navigating your life. You are not constrained by the limitations of man or conditions, situations, or individuals that do not correspond to what I perceive when I look at you. You are not confined by these things. Seeing as how I am not restricted, you are not limited either. Nonetheless, the Father insists that you must take action. I am breaking this day the illegitimate authorities who have uttered illegitimate words over you that did not originate in my truth. Say within your heart, no more limitation, no more lack, no more denying. I am breaking these authorities. Now is the time to put an end to your cries, which will say, that will be enough of that. I am with you, and at this very now I am holding the door of escape open for you so that you can walk out to fresh freedom in my spirit. The Father says these words no longer because I am with you. According to what the Father has revealed to us today, I have called you to be a seer, a sayer, and a sower. In my own words, I instructed you to write the vision and make it plain. The Father is referring to you as a seeker. To truly put your heart's aspirations into action by putting them to paper, you must have the courage and optimism to do so. I have encoded inside your desires and longings and dreams the DNA of the very things that I determined before the foundation of the earth to come to pass in your life. Do not let the circumstance or other people to dominate the canvas of your expectations. These things are the exact things that I have determined to come to pass in your life. When the Father says, see, you should tell your tongue to say what you see and your eyes to see what you see. It is important that you do not give your voice or your lips to the challenges, the obstacles, the uncertainties, or the worries that are in front of you. Your comments should not be used to justify the threat that the enemy is making to prevent you from having your biggest goal or your highest heart's desire fulfilled. You are not excluded from the truth that I generate the fruit of your lips, and the Father says, open your mouth. You are not exempt from this reality. The weight of your confession will establish the high watermark of my promise in your life, and you will not be rejected. Say and speak and explain what the Father says, and you will not be denied. Invest in your future, the Father advises you to do. Locate the treasure that is being superintended by others who are experiencing the realization of a greater vision that you are experiencing, and make yourself a blessing in their life and in the work that they are doing. Grow a lot of seeds. Invest in a sacrifice. Plant seeds as soon as possible. I will directly measure the amount of time it takes for me to respond to you based on how quickly you respond to me. This is the path that leads to forward motion and change. The reason things are the way they are is because of what you are actually doing. The Father says that if you commit yourself, you will witness the transformation that you have been praying for coming to pass. As the Father instructs us today, select your own destiny. Your power of choice is much more strong than you will ever realize, and you have the ability to choose the outcome that you want for your will. The Father encourages you to make a decision today to develop the resilience of choice that is rooted in who I am in your life rather than in the pressure that is brought on by the outside circumstances. Proceed to make a proclamation to you about who I am. Tell your adversary who I am and what I am. Make it known to both yourself and your adversary what it is that you are aware I am accomplishing in your life. As the Father puts it, I am placing you ahead of me. You are becoming a conqueror as a result of my help. As a result of the fact that I wanted you to be a reflection of both my character and my mercy, I am magnifying myself in you. In order to magnify me in you, you must first amplify who I am on the inside of you. Put an end to exaggerating the problem. The reason why the difficulties that appear to be looming over you are actually there is because you are viewing them through the convex lens of the lies that the enemy has told you. Put a stop to it. In what ways does that benefit you? To what extent does that work for you? To what extent are you being diminished by the things that you are magnifying, or are you being elevated to a higher degree of entitlement inside my kingdom? At this moment, make use of your will to magnify me. Do it anyway, even though I know you don't always feel like doing it. Intentionally and with faith, magnify me and express gratitude to me for who I am currently. Be sure to express your feelings and emotions. You will return to them at a later time. In the event that you are able to accept the fact that I have poured out my kindness in your life, your feelings will not have anything to complain about. What are your thoughts on this? In this day and age, the Father asks, what are you saying to your mountain? It is not the case that natural means restrict your capacity for communication. When I was on Earth, I had the ability to command the winds, the storms, and the trees, and they listened to me. In addition, the Holy Spirit that I have bestowed upon you allows you to exercise power over all that has been created. You need only open your mouth and order the storm, the situation, and the circumstance, and they will comply with your command. Because your words are imbued with the creative spirit of my breath, it is impossible to think of anything other than the consequence that is anticipated. Communicate with your mountain. I want you to tell the mountain that is in your way, the storm that is in your life, and the struggle that is in your way to conform to my teachings. Words like yours are the ones that decide and carry out the policies of my kingdom. As my words become more prevalent on your lips, so does my government become more prevalent in the earth, as well as in the affairs of your life. It is in this manner that one moves from a position of power to one of authorization. According to the Father, the doors, gates, and bars are all standing open for your breakthrough. Thus, you should let the floodgates of your faith open. The words that I put into your mouth will not fail. My words that are spoken out of my mouth are powerful enough to save, powerful enough to deliver, and powerful enough to come into manifestation in your life. Oh, my beloved. According to what the Father has spoken to me today, I am expanding the gap of comprehension that exists between your mind and your spirit. It is not necessary for you to use vain religious energy in order to hear me, says the Father, because my thoughts are only on the surface at this moment. To enter the entire reservoir of my freshness, benefit, and favor, all you need to do is roll over onto your back and float down the river of life. The impulse to wear the heavy yoke or to declare with the ascetics, the burden of the Lord, comes from the fact that you should resist it. My burden is light, and my yoke is easy, because I am the Lord. First and foremost, my transformational grace is peaceful and simple to be entreated after. You are not a beast of burden. Rather, you are a child who is entitled to special treatment, and I have made it my pleasure to do so today. Therefore, make it your conscious decision to give my spirit complete authority over all of the processes, conditions, and feelings that are contained within you. Put dread to rest. To overcome the restricting thoughts of loss, doubt, and intimidation, you must reject them. As a result, these are not a part of your mentality because they are not a part of mine. Are you sure that I did not say, "Let this mind be in you that was also in Christ," instead? A Christ-centered mindset should be adopted now. Think in the same way that I do. As I am cognate, I am cognate. I have provided you with the position and the posture of one who is seated in Christ in heavenly regions, so adopt the posture of someone who is situated in that position. The throne room is your natural environment, and because you are my beloved, there is no room for any shortcomings, sins, or deprivations to enter there when you are there. In today's message, the Father has stated that change is not only feasible, but also readily available. It is possible for something to alter depending on the circumstances of your faith if you are able to notice it. You should not try to reason away your blessing. When it comes to your life, you should not let death theology stifle your faith in living. The things that can be seen are temporary, and they are susceptible to change as a result of the things that cannot be seen, which are eternal. I have placed within you as a resource my unchangeable and immutable nature, to which everything, circumstances, and situations in your life must surely bow. I have placed this within you. My goodness must be able to make your circumstances kneel down. It is necessary for the circumstances of your life to submit to my mercy, my love, and my favor, which are all present inside you and are not considered a limited allocation, but rather a limitless resource. My challenge to you today is that I dare you to deplete the favor that I have bestowed onto your life. I issue a challenge to you to make use of the power that I have available to reform, refresh, and rejuvenate your path. Take a stand against the lack, poverty, and illness that would be a part of your existence by using your religion. It is my infinite, unbounded love, favor, and strength that will help you to defeat the adversary of your souls. My message, which is my logos, will be confirmed in you by the signs that are to follow. Each and every breath will be a witness to a miracle, and each and every instant will be an outpouring of my magnificent grace, which is your resource to triumph over and achieve victory over every scenario, situation, and problem that you face in your life. The Father has revealed to you today that everything is possible. All you need to do is believe. The only limit that I have established for your life is the limit of my enormous ability. It is not necessary for you to be unwell, dear. The only adjectives that can adequately express my plan for you are abundant, exceeding, and more than you could possibly ask or think. To be miserable is not necessary. It is not necessary for you to be impoverished or unsuccessful. You are not destined to spend the days of your earth walk in agony if you do not have a plan for how to get out of the situation. There is a presence of the Lord of the entire planet within you. Please take hold of my hand and let my intellect to guide you. I will raise you above the level of mediocrity and raise you up to the level of the elect of the world. In the presence of princes and monarchs, your children will be dandled on their knees. My magnificence, which is being made evident on the inside of you, will be acknowledged by those who are strong in the natural world. You will be the source of future legal professionals, political figures, authors, and explorers. Have you come to the realization, dear, that there are nations within you that I will bring forth from your natural and spiritual lineage? It is true that the powerful of the earth, who are mighty in my name and mighty in my might, shall emerge from you, says the Father. This day, make it your goal to take that small step toward development in my kingdom. This can be accomplished by being someone who will do what you see me do and by thinking with the thoughts that I find myself thinking. In this way, the illusion of deficiency, limitation, and want will be removed from your life, and the fullness of joy, the fullness of my spirit, and the fullness of my provision will come to you and fill you with the fullness that I am, which fills everything. According to what the Father has revealed to us today, the power of man is finite. Nevertheless, when you are indwelt by my spirit, your strength cannot be consumed, depleted, or challenged. Beloved, I invite you to ascend into my fullness today and to enable me to fulfill the promise that I made in my word to be the all-in-all. This is who I am, and within my power is the ability to redeem you in its whole and in its entirety. My spirit will triumph and cause you to triumph in every scenario and situation, despite the fact that man may try to conquer via his intellect or his charm. Therefore, do not let yourself be sidetracked by the opinion that a man has of himself, which he uses to assume that he can take advantage of you. My basic nature is that of a Lord and Savior, and I am now working to eliminate every adversary until you are able to fulfill the deepest desires of your heart and fulfill the greatest purpose that I have for you. Wake up is the message that should be delivered to the sense of my righteousness that is dormant within you. The blood that was poured at Calvary should stir you up to righteousness and to the entitlement that you have. This day, I stir you to a new existence of serenity and authority, and I want you to wake up to the possibility of ascending beyond the monotonous daily grind into a new existence that is filled with endless riches, prosperity, and power. Embrace my promise and break free from the mentality of poverty, as well as the mentality of sickness, sadness, and death. If there was no intention of making good on my commitment, then why would I make a pledge in this life? It is the violent who are the cause of suffering for the kingdom, says the Father. Let the violent refuse to accept no as an answer. As you forcibly push past the tyranny of the mind that is dominated by your senses, you will be able to lay hold of what I have in store for you from the beginning of the earth. Every promise that I make is yes and amen. Today, the Father is telling you that this is the time for you to surrender. Give up your viewpoints and accept the reality that I have to say. Forcing your eyes to see what I see and your tongue to utter what I say when I look at you rather than man is the command I give you. I ask that you give up your options and have faith that my guidance, no matter how unfathomable it may be, will establish your deepest and most genuine aspirations as well as my most important purpose. You must let go of your dependence on the favorable judgments of those who would usurp what I have spoken into your heart before the earth was ever created. The Father urges you to get rid of fear. Refrain from focusing on either the praise or criticism of males in equal measure. Pay attention to the guidance that my spirit provides, and let your life to be a drink offering that is poured out to me as a delicious oblation. Indeed, the Father affirms, I take great pleasure in your eager obedience, even in the midst of men's bickering, anger, and criticism, for it is in this very instance that my one and only lordship over your life is demonstrated. The Father declares, I am yours, and in turn, you are mine. In the course of that holy transaction, every mouth is shut, and every other idea that is opposite to man's is disgraced and silenced. This is what the Father says: I will bring those who have messed with you to consequences. They belong to me. You should leave them to me. Continue to keep your attention on the role that heaven plays in your life. There should be no halt for those individuals who choose to ignore and disregard, and then wipe their mouth as if they have done nothing wrong. I adore them. Love them without condition and continue to seek the kingdom even when other people do not agree with you or comprehend what you are doing. Look for my face. Look for my face. This day, give the voice of your own human spirit permission to utter the words, "Holy, holy." As I take you out of the many waters of tribulation and set you in the high position that has been predestined and intended for you, I will confirm my answer with a thunderous yes and an affirmative affirmation. On this day, the Father commands that you take my breath. Take a deep intake of my grace and exhale the breath of my sovereignty. When I breathed into Adam, he transformed into a living soul that was bestowed with authority and dominion, allowing him to dominate the land and extract the gifts that I had provided for him to live in. What is even more remarkable is the fact that those who have undergone a rebirth are reborn as life-giving spirits in Christ and are governed by angels. Beloved, that is the person you are. Do not accept any alternatives. You should not allow the shadow of things that have happened in the past to cast over you the image of man or the image of failure that is deformed. You do not count as a failure. There is still life for you to live. The future is not a negative one. By virtue of the blood that was shed at Calvary, you are a principality and a power that has been given permission to go out into the world and demonstrate who I am. The Father has informed you that you are a protester. It is not necessary for you to discuss the things that you demonstrate. In addition to being a demonstration of my strength, you are also a demonstration of my spirit. You should make it a point to know nothing about the people you are surrounded by other than Jesus Christ and the fact that he was crucified, risen on the third day, and placed at the right side of the Father. You have imagined the bigger dream and held the higher expectations, and now comes the season of joy and the season of the first ripe fruit of the dreams that you have dreamed. Not only will I not let you down, but you should also make it your mission to avoid relying on my benevolence by engaging in self-pity and negativity. Reawaken yourself to the truth. Be awakened to your title. It is time for you to awaken to the authority that your blood has purchased, because I am with you, and I will never abandon you or leave you until your own personal Shiloh comes. In this new year, the Father Days incorporate my mind and my mindset into their daily routine. As you allow yourself to be influenced by the thought of the Spirit that I have implanted within you, a transformation will take place in your life. There will come a day when you will start to comprehend at the same rate that I comprehend, and the adversary will no longer be able to keep up with your objectives or your preparations. Suddenly, you will find yourself breaking out into the full brightness of my favor and my blessing. It will feel as though you are emerging from under an immovable pall that has lingered over your dreams and hopes in times past. This pall has been there for a long time. It has been there from the beginning, says the Father. Nevertheless, when you allow your natural mind to control your actions, you put yourself in a position where you are vulnerable to the attack of the adversary. This mind, which is also found in Christ Jesus, should therefore be present within you, says the Father. Reject the idea of fatalism. There is no such thing as fatalism in a person who is kingdom-minded. Put an end to pessimism. Toss out the snark. Defy defeatism, negativity, and cynicism by rejecting them. All of these strongholds have their roots in the sediments of the natural mind, which are heavily influenced by sin consciousness and are tainted with its contamination. To know that your spirit will become a conduit of mountain-moving faith that will halt the mouths of the gainsayers, part the floods of adversity, and quench the ferocity of the plans of the enemy against your life, you must, first and foremost, embrace the Christ mind. According to the Father, this is your now season, and in order to begin thinking as an entitled scion of the kingdom, rather than a frightened sin-conscious waif of the domain of darkness, you will need to have a newness of mind and thought. You are my most cherished. The Father states that my favor is open and exists as an endorsement of all that you set your hand to. This is what the Father says today. According to what I told the Israelites in the past, I will bless everything that you do with your hands. With the intention of watering down my promises, religious mentalities will hurl qualifiers and disclaimers at me. Yet have I not said that everything is possible? All you have to do is believe? The jaundiced knowledge of dry spiritual dead should be thrown away and rejected, and the promise of my word should be willingly accepted in its entirety. My word is supported by the complete manifestation of each and every drop of blood that was shed at Calvary. As a cleaning and powerful flow, my precious blood was released to you in order to empower you, enable you, and cause you to move through life with the Christ mentality and kingdom authority. According to the Father, it is time for you to have a change of heart about these things that are happening in your life. In the words of the Father, I am working with you. In my role as the Comforter and the Paraclete, I have never failed to fulfill my duties. Why do you allow failure to be included in the inventory of your expectations if I have never failed when it comes to my expectations? Take a step ahead, the Father commands. Listen to what the Father has to say. Be courageous and expectant and know that I am by your side, that I have your back, and that I am going ahead of you in the knowledge that I will succeed and that I will arrive. Have no fear. While it is true that other people have failed, they are not your example. Remember what I have said, which is looking unto Jesus. Look at any other example, and you will find that you have set your ambitions too low. The Father reminds us to press in. You can proceed with your life since I am with you, and I will never abandon you. What the Father has to say about you today is that I have decreed that you will develop, broaden, and increase in your life. The intention is not for you to be a spiritual pygmy who is striving to survive on the meager remnants of pious delusions and religion that has died out. My very being is one that is full of vitality and life. Everything that I come into contact with is altered as a result of my presence, which is fluid and dynamic. On this day, I bestow upon you the gift of fresh life as well as the completeness of my exousia power. The Father says, take a deep breath of my freshness and then reject from your life the stale, burden-laden preconceptions that are associated with religion that is dressed in solemn garments. Putting up a wall around yourself is no longer an option. There is no longer any need to protect yourself from the fears that will never materialize in any case. Establish as your resolute intention that you will not allow yourself to stop developing. It is not any earthly limitation that determines my potentiality. Rather, it is the measurement of your capability. Take advantage of my limitless energy and power that is pouring in you and all around you today, and make sure to take full advantage of it. Today, my life concept instills in you not only the hope that you will endure, but also the hope that you will flourish in all aspects of your existence. I have placed my seal on you today, releasing the fire of my nature and my spirit within you to alter your view of yourself and your experience of my power and fullness in a way that will last forever.